think we're where we're supposed to be. The people who deserve the outcomes they want are getting them, and the ones who don't.
We can't be all traditional, all straight. Like everybody has to be straight, heterosexual, nuclear family, and that's how we're gonna, thrive as a society. And that's just not true. Like
But look
we
how
have
we
so
are
many
thriving
other,
right
huh?
now. Look how we are thriving right now. Like, yes, things have gotten better with technology. Yes, we're moving in that direction. I feel like that's thriving, but look at the family dynamics.
Family dynamics are fine because people are choosing what they want their family dynamics to look like. Like
And
I
they're screwed
said,
up.
there are it depends on who you ask. There are a lot
But
of people happy with how they are raising their family. There are a lot of healthy children coming out of relationships that are not particularly traditional.
I think once y'all got the gates blown wide open and you tasted freedom to this much, now you want to push it and see how far this freedom can actually go.
I'm hearing so many conversations, reading through the comments. One of the things that I'm often hearing is that none of this advice is working. You guys think the advice is working everybody is giving? Or don't nobody know what they're talking about?
maybe a little bit of all of it.
A little bit all of it.
Right. What advice? Like, what advice you talking about from here? Just in general?
Just relationship advice, man. Marriage advice. Who's giving them the actual advice? If they qualified to give it. There's just so many things that I'm hearing in regards to these conversations are pointless. I'm just wanted to see what you guys had thought.
I think people forget what advice is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a suggestion, an opinion. It's not law. I don't think it's bad advice, and I think people get mixed up with the message and the messenger or how the messenger says it a lot of times.
I don't think we've given it enough time to marinate. I think that the narrative of relationships have been heavily on the female's lens for a long time. And so we're just starting to maybe turn around to actually allow the men to enter the conversation from our perspective because we've been so silent for so long. I think we got another maybe 5 years before it gets to the point where we can actually have honest conversations.
Hey, True, why'd you say 5 years? What's going to change within 5 years for the messaging?
I think we're in that, like they say, changing direction, changing people's habits takes at least a decade, at least a generation. Like you remember when the iPhone came out, it wasn't a complete conversion, like debit cards, anything. It takes people time. So I think we're right there now that there's conversations being had. So just give it 5 years, you'll start to hear what we're saying now be readily repeated, in my opinion.
All right.
I mean, personally, I feel like people turn to social media more than ever for advice, and the algorithms do reward controversy and emotion, you know, over advice. So it's entertainment over actual wisdom that people are now listening to and resonating with, in my opinion.
So I think we're on the verge of a collapse where everything's going to go wrong first. We're going to have serious issues. There's a lot more of a fallout that's going to happen before there's a correction. I don't think that people are just going to start behaving well all of a sudden when we don't have anything to support it. We don't have the right guidance. We don't have the right role models. We don't have the right parenting. We don't have the skill set. We don't know about finances. We don't know about emotions. We don't know about just simply getting along with each other. We don't even know what it is we're supposed to be looking for in a relationship. I think we'll be forced to soon enough, but we're going to have to seriously fail before we get a reset. True might be right about that 5 year timeline. It's going to take some time, but it's not going to be because we decided to do well. It's going to be because we were forced to.
I think we're where we're supposed to be. The people who deserve the outcomes they want are getting them, and the ones who don't. So I don't have an issue with that at all. As far as the conversations that we keep having, it's just because the conversations are cyclical because the algorithms and these platforms reward these conversations. People are entertained by these conversations, so they keep taking part in them. But what I do appreciate about that is that the people who are getting the outcomes they want, they stop taking part in these conversations. because they realize that they can't speak to it anymore. They're not subject matter experts on being bitter or alone or overfucked. Men are subject matter experts on being used for their money, being played, or being ignored by women because they have women. So the people that are continuing to have these conversations are the people that haven't done the work to get the outcomes they want. So they're going to still be in this space, and they're going to do what's familiar because what humans do.
I think that I agree we are having a bunch of circular conversations. I don't think that the point is that it's not doing any good. I think it's doing a great deal of good. Um, I think it's exposing a lot of people who nobody should want, like the Blue Chew crew in the comments. Um, I think that it's exposing a lot of problematic people. We can see them now. We can actually hear how they think now. And um, I think that the people who are having the circular conversations, the people who are refusing to understand the other side, are the ones that are going to stay single and miserable. I think that those who have this conversation, who take the opportunity to learn and listen and broaden their perspective on the other, on the for the other side, I think that they're going to fare a little better than them. But I do agree with Willie. I'm like, people who are good people are doing well for themselves, and they're not hurting in the dating world like that. It's a little frustrating, but I think that dating in general has always been frustrating, especially since the 50s, 60s. So I think that that's nothing new, and I think that people who are going to get results are just going to get them.
Um, it was Trev, I believe, that was saying about that we have to fail first. And if we're having such issues with relationships, have we not already failed, essentially? Not having, too many nuclear families, as people talk about a lot. Um, and maybe that's also a misconception too. I don't go out and try to figure out who has two family homes and stuff like that. But my question is, have we not already failed in some manner?
I think as a society, we are certainly failing. But as far as relationships are concerned, it's difficult to notice the failure because what social media, dating apps have provided is perceived unlimited options, right? So when you can keep going through the cycle over and over and over, well, this time I found somebody who could make me laugh. This time I found somebody who got good McLovin. This time I found somebody who got the bread. So eventually I'm going to find somebody with a good combination. This guy was almost as good, but he just didn't really like me like that. The next dude I run into, I'm going to give him that fire and he going to like me. So we have to keep getting bumped in the head until we get it. Some of us are way more stubborn than others. Most of us do not think that we should make adjustments. We want to keep blaming it on the opposite person and thinking that it's something that they're doing wrong rather than seeking within and saying, look, I'm going to go ahead and fix this. Maybe my failures, they'll instead call it your failures. And I think when you say your failures instead of my own and making the adjustments, it's just going to be a vicious cycle.
Um, I have to disagree with that. I don't think that we're failing as a society at all. Um, I think that I think that people are changing what they want. I read a post today about this lady who's living a solo poly lifestyle. Like, she dates several men and they date whoever they date. And she's like, I looked at the traditional relationships, and she was like, I just opted out. I didn't want that. I didn't want the struggle love. I didn't want the, all of the other things that comes with dating men, and being marriage minded. Like, she didn't want that. I think that people are waking up and choosing different things for themselves. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that as a society, we are waking up to a lot of these things that we have been taught to think, we have been taught to do, and we're choosing things for ourselves. And in that choosing, sometimes it can become a little toxic, it can become a little chaotic, but a lot of things, like things going through an evolution are a little chaotic until they settle. But we're out of men having to provide, women having to stay at home. We're in another relationship dynamic. Capitalism says we have to work. And so society has taken a turn and we're adapting to it. And I think that the people who make up their own reality, who choose things for themselves and not what they have been taught to think, because people often are not thinking their own thoughts. They're thinking the thoughts that have been told to them. So I think that people who do that are a lot happier in whatever that looks like for them. So I don't think that we're failing as a society. I think that we're actually on our way to thriving.
I think everybody has valid points to. I think things were a lot better back then, so I don't feel like that. I don't really don't think that we're on our way to thriving. I think that is things are going to definitely get a lot worse. I think that because people want to make their own decisions, then this is their own decisions. They don't want to be led by anybody. They don't want anyone to tell them what to do. They don't want to consider the other person. I think that this is the reason why there's such a lack of, I guess, companionship. I feel like the traditional things, people have more values and you had common goals. I don't see that now. I think a lot of it is social media. Um, I think nobody wants to everybody wants their own autonomy, and I understand that. However, it just comes with a lot of things. People don't want to answer to anybody or consider another person, and I think it's pretty selfish, to be honest.
I
So
Do I
think
have a delay
people,
or echo? I
somebody
hear.
has an echo.
Somebody's just echoing.
I think that's
Yeah,
Um,
Lakeisha.
that's you.
so are you saying never mind.
No, go ahead.
It's just that so the issue that I always have is not what people think. I don't think that traditional values are wrong at all whatsoever. I think they're wrong for those who don't want to follow them. The issue I have is you all think that that is the solution for everyone, and it is not. That's just not how people can operate. We can't be all traditional, all straight. Like everybody has to be straight, heterosexual, nuclear family, and that's how we're gonna, thrive as a society. And that's just not true. Like
But look
we
how
have
we
so
are
many
thriving
other,
right
huh?
now. Look how we are thriving right now. Like, yes, things have gotten better with, like, technology. Yes, we're, moving in that direction. I feel like that's thriving, but look at the family dynamics. I,
Family dynamics are fine because people are choosing what they want their family dynamics to look like. Like
and
I
they're screwed
said,
up.
it depends on who you ask. There are a lot
But
of people happy with how they are raising their family. There are a lot of healthy children coming out of relationships that are not particularly traditional. Like it's okay to have traditional relationships. It's okay to have non-traditional
yeah, it's
relationships.
okay to have non-traditional, but I feel like because people don't value people and don't value what units are, then this is the reason why we have so many broken families. Like people don't they don't do the work to keep families together. They don't do the work to maintain solid relationships. I just think that definitely on a decline.
I mean, I agree. I don't disagree with you, but do you think do you think that just because we don't have these traditional values that it also can't work?
It's not that I don't think it can work. I think that when people wonder why things are not going things are going in such a negative direction, or they don't have that like foundation, then look at what your thought process is. And I'm not saying
So,
you, but I'm just saying it
no,
in
I know.
general. Yeah.
But also, do you think that the things that worked for our grandparents and great grandparents would actually work for us in this context.
I mean, I think so, but because people change it, it's not working. You know, people just,
There's a lot of people that are not changing it, and things still don't work out.
So, but sorry.
No, because you said it, Bo. It's not to you. It's to the women that are like you who are listening, right? I think to challenge a structure is dangerous. I'm gonna explain to you why. There's never been an all. Nowhere in society has there been just 100% of everything. There's always been bandits. There's always been, rebels. There's always been people who went against the grain. Always. In any century you want to do your historical research around. The issue is that we're still in somewhat of a transitional stage. I don't know if the proper word or verbiage is failure or thrive. I think none of us have lived long enough to see this experiment work over the duration of the other experiment, which was structure. Structure maintains society for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Somebody or a group of people decided to start breaking structure, maybe at the turn of the century. So we're about 126 years of this newfound autonomy, innovation, and all those things combined, right? But the runway of humanity hasn't been able to now take this data and say which one was better. I'm more inclined to believe when I look at just subsets of things, like I'll take the military, for example. The reason why the military, in my opinion, is a great example is because there's no way you can go to the military and then have an individual mindset and expect to be successful. And there's an illusion in America that because we're free and you can dress how you want and say what you want, that there isn't rules and consequences and repercussions. There is. Our society is structured. Our freedoms are comparable to other nations that won't allow you to be as loose with your lips, but there's still consequences. Folks still get thrown in jail for violating laws. So that tells me that this freedom that we have still is subjective to how you enact in that freedom. There's taxes that have to still be paid. You can buy a house right now, as you know, and you can't just do what you want in your front yard or next to it to a degree.
Bo says, yeah.
Give me.
Can I piggyback off of that? Okay, I'm sorry, True. Go ahead.
I'm almost done. I promise. So I think that what's happening, this is my assumption, pick on y'all women for a second, just for a second. I think once y'all got the gates blown wide open and you tasted freedom to this much, now you want to push it and see how far this freedom can actually go. That's what I think. And since we've allowed it, and even in that, the freedom was tied to things like the innovation of birth control and so on and so forth. And so now it's like, well, we can leave without husbands? Cool. What else can we do? We can work full time? Cool. What else can we do? And now you're seeing the snowball effect, which is natural human behavior. We always gonna push the envelope. That's what I think. So I think we may not be alive to even see it, but
and you know what? I can agree with you on that point about women's freedom, whatever. I think that there still needs to be an order. I think that a lot of women who experience this freedom, some of them like it. Some of them like the lady I was talking about. But some of them get out there and they learn, oh, no. Like, I don't want to do all of this. Because they see what it gets them, right? Because a lot of times it doesn't get them any results. And so you do have to get back in that order. At least a little bit. At least a lot of it. And maybe not all the way. But yeah, I mean, because we're human too, right? But yeah, like I can agree with it.
And I was just going to say really quick, I just want to make the point, like, even I look at it even like with kids, like back then you didn't, talk, against your parents, right? It's like they had the last word. You're not questioning all these, questioning what they say and what they do. Otherwise, you knew there was a consequence, right? It was always going to be a consequence. Now these kids are saying, well, you didn't get permission to take my picture. Now it's like, oh, you have to get consent for this. It's like, what? Since when do, like, now things, things have just shifted. So now it's like, look at these dynamics with these children. It's like they get to say so. Nobody is respectful. You knew when you walked into somebody's house, you speak to them. Now these kids don't even speak to you. When they see you, it's like, well, you coming to my house, you're supposed to speak to me. So there is a huge shift with that.